Season 4 for DMZ is coming next Wednesday at 5 p.m. UK time, and we've got a lot of new information about what's going to be included in this. I did do a video a couple of days ago with all of the information from the roadmap blog, and now there's a new community update that goes into a bit more detail about how things like the forward operating base and the faction missions are going to work. Some of this new stuff actually confuses me a little bit more. It's made me a little bit less clear on what's happening. But in this video, I'm going to go through all of the information we've been given, try to make it as clear as possible, and just talk about what a massive change this is, because I really feel like DMZ is going to change hugely with this season update, and it's all in a really, really positive way. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. Also, let me know in the comments, are you going to be heading back into DMZ for Season 4? Maybe giving it a go for the first time? I'd be really interested to see kind of where people's interest is on this. Like, is this something that's encouraging you to play more? So, at the beginning, they talk a little bit about the new map, Vondel. There's a whole blog post just about that map if you want to see that. And it also talks about the fact that there's going to be a reset. But the real focus of this is all about the forward operating base. And I think this is the biggest change that DMZ has ever had, like since it came out. This is going to change the way we interact with the game. Up till now, you basically played DMZ to complete the missions. Like that's what most people did, is everything like getting gear, trying to like find people to play with, going to the different maps was all about trying to complete the missions. And the problem with that was some missions were just not that much fun, and it kind of sucked to get stuck on them, and that problem's been solved. And also, once you ran out of missions, you kind of had nothing to do in DMZ. That's why I haven't really played for the last week, other than the fact that Diablo came out, and I kind of love that. But that problem has also been solved. So this is something that I've been wanting since the beginning of DMZ, is kind of this persistent base thing, that you've got something to work on, you've got something that will happen every day. It just seems absolutely awesome. So the idea is that you're going to be trying to work to upgrade your FOB and unlock some of these passive upgrades that you get in game. Each of these upgrades will have its own objective to open them up. And one really cool thing is you don't have to equip the objectives. So it's not like you have to choose, okay, now I'm going to work on unlocking the wallet and I'm going to complete those objectives to do it. Just if you complete any of the objectives in the course of naturally playing, they will unlock. You know how annoying it was when you had like you found a GPU in DMZ, but you didn't have the mission on where you needed to extract with a GPU. That was super frustrating. That's not going to happen, at least for this set of missions. So you're going to be able to unlock loads of different things, and they've split up all of the different things that you can into 4 categories. There's the weapons locker, where you'll be able to earn new insured weapon slots, reduce your weapon cooldown time, increase your contraband weapon stash. Then there's the stash, where you're going to be able to unlock the wallet, and the wallet is basically a system where you can keep the money that you exfil with, bring it to the FOB up to a certain cap, like up to whatever the wallet size is, and then you'll be able to bring some of that money back into the game. So if you have a mission where it says like extract with $300,000, you'll be able to build up that money over multiple games and then bring it all in at once and then just head straight for the exfil to try and complete it. I think that's the idea. Or you could just be like, okay, I'm going to bring 30,000 in this time because I want to immediately buy a backpack or I immediately want to buy a free plate vest. Something like that. You're also going to be able to increase the capacity of the wallet and the key stash size. And it says their contraband stash size. I think that might be a mistake. I think they might mean like mission item because otherwise contraband is on there twice. The key stash, I hope it's not just like you have 1 slot at the beginning and eventually you work your way up to 30 like we had before. Hopefully it gets much bigger than that. I think we checked out when we were just in the first season of DMZ. There was something insane, like 90 keys. And that was before they added Ashika Island and obviously before they added Vondel. So it seems like there's a lot more now. I would really like to have a key stash that was so big eventually that I could keep 1 of every key. That would be absolutely amazing. There's also the bounty board where it says personal exfil, barter recipes, and buy station discounts. Buy station discounts make sense. You know, maybe you'll be able to get this upgrade and then a backpack, a large backpack will be like 20,000 instead of 30,000. That's awesome. Barter recipes and personal exfil. I think you're going to be unlocking these. So at the beginning, you won't be able to buy a personal exfil like you can now. But once you unlock it, that option will be available. Similarly, the barter recipes, maybe, you know, things that are super powerful now, like being able to make a comms vest or a medic vest just by using really common items. Maybe that will be locked at the beginning and you'll have to do an objective to unlock that ability. That's cool. I'm fully in support of that kind of thing. And then also the communication station where you get urgent missions access, which we'll talk about in a second. Now, I would say all of these are just the Season 4 upgrades. I wouldn't be surprised if they added to this, and I really hope some of those things that are kind of in the pay-to-win bundles they've released over the last season might find their way into this, where there's a way to complete objectives to be able to get like a self-revive in every game or a UAV in every game. That would be awesome. I really hope they add that at some point. So, the urgent missions. This is something that you can unlock, and you can actually see up in this screenshot up here where it shows, okay, you start off with unlocking the Black Mouse daily urgent missions, but then you can unlock the daily urgent missions for White Lotus, Crown, and Phalanx. One really interesting point before we get onto urgent missions, actually, it doesn't mention Legion or Redacted in this. So, Redacted actually talks about a bit later what's happened to them. But Legion, it never mentions in the blog, as far as I can tell, why they're not showing up on any of these. It just seems like Legion as a faction is gone for some reason. So now we've gone from having 5, which we would have had 6 because we were getting Phalanx as well, to now we've only got 4, which is a little bit strange. We're missing 2 factions for some reason. But these daily urgent missions are basically a rotating pool of missions where they're a little bit smaller than the normal missions, the faction missions you get, a bit quicker to do, but you're going to get a new one every day. And the reward for them is faction reputation. Now, the way the missions are going to work out now, if I just scroll down to another page, here we go. This is what the faction mission select looks like. You can see you still have your normal missions, like where you've got a set of 6 missions, but rather than having to complete 5 of these to unlock the story mission for each tier, instead you now have to unlock that by getting faction reputation. So you can see here for the first one, to get up to unlock tier 2, you need 200 reputation. And these missions reward 100 reputation. It doesn't say exactly how much the urgent missions will reward, but maybe it's a bit less because they're easier missions. They're like 50 or something. But it means that if you want to sort of like keep progressing through the tiers, but there's one mission that's really annoying you just can't do, you could actually just do the daily urgent missions to get that faction reputation you need and kind of get around the missions you don't want to do. I think that's an absolutely awesome option. I think that's a really cool idea that they'll let you do that kind of thing. It just means that you don't get too bogged down to faction missions. They're just one option for you to use while you're progressing through things. I think that's really cool. You can also see on this screenshot again, Black Mouse, White Lotus, Phalanx, and Crown. There's no Legion there, which is really weird. It also says that Redacted are gone, and it says there that Phalanx has been added, but Redacted has been taken out for some reason, and they're making it a bit of a mystery, like, what happened to Redacted? Who knows? And it says Kate Louspell is working with Phalanx, and they're looking at the new unknown enemy faction that's in Vondel, so it's not one of the enemy factions we already know about. And for some reason it says Phalanx and Black Mouse will execute on missions together. I'm not sure if that's meant to be like Phalanx and Legion will work together, because when you look at the icon for Phalanx, it actually looks like it's got Legion's helmet in the icon. So I think this might just be a mistake in a blog post. I think they meant to say it's Phalanx and Legion have just kind of been renamed into Phalanx. I think. I don't know for sure. The name kind of makes sense as well. You know, Legion, you think of like old sort of like Roman Greek soldiers type thing. Phalanx, I think that's a formation from Greek or Roman soldiers. I think someone in comments can probably correct me, but it seems like they're thematically connected. So I assume that's what happened, and there's just a little bit of a mistake there. But anyway, this sounds really cool. So the mission progression is going to be much easier because not only have you got other ways to progress missions, you can just keep on doing more urgent missions once you've unlocked them in order to progress if you don't like the missions you have, but also you can kind of have a bit more freedom about which missions you complete to work through the tier. There's going to be less of an expectation for you to finish every faction mission, I think. And the other thing about these missions, these urgent missions, are that they are daily. So even after you've completed all the faction missions, you're still going to have new things showing up every time you log in. So you could just hop in and be like, okay, what have we got today? And maybe they'll offer other rewards, like, you know, some money, or maybe they'll give you some contraband or some keys or something like that. Like, you'll always be able to log on and just have some daily missions for DMZ, which is something I think it desperately needs. Like, me as a content creator, I tend to burn through the faction missions quite quickly. It's really nice to always have something else to do. I'm really, really happy about that. Now, there's a couple of other things in this blog post. There's a page showing what the wallet will look like. So you get in the middle the amount of money that you've got in there, and then you can choose to add or remove money from your backpack, like how you're going to do that, how much money you want to take in. It also talks about how the missions have been refreshed. There's going to be some new faction missions. Some are a little bit different now. So they'll be reworked. So normally, like with the first time they did the mission refresh, They just took out some of the really annoying objectives. Like if previously it was find 14 of these or kill 30 enemy operators, they reduced that to like find 3 of these or kill 5 enemy operators, which are much more reasonable, a lot less grindy. And sometimes they'll just change things where it's like the same mission, but now you'll have to do it on Vondel instead of Ashika Island or something like that, just to get the new map involved in some way. It does talk a little bit about the new map, and we're also going to have a new DMZ contract called Signal Intelligence. Not really much information on that other than the idea operators will hack phones to gain access to cash rewards from other contracts in the area. So it sounds like you're sort of stealing money away from other contracts. That sounds a little bit strange, but if it's some way of getting money, that's great. There's also a bit about the new boss, and it says there's a new boss and weapons case. Prepare to strike with speed if you're seeking the bullfrog. So is that the name of the new boss? Is that like the name of the blueprint that you're going to be getting? I don't know. The idea of striking with speed makes it sounds kind of interesting. It makes me think maybe this is going to be a car that's driving around or a boat that's driving around really fast, and you're going to have to like kind of catch up to it while fighting it. That would be really exciting. Like if one person has to drive a car or drive a boat while your teammates are on there trying to shoot at the boss, I think that would be really cool. So hopefully it'll be something like that. You know, that would be awesome. We've also got the dynamic fog and a nice picture here of Stadium showing that there's this kind of paintball setup in Stadium. But yeah, there's a dynamic fog coming in. So that means that every time you go into Vondel, there's going to be a different amount of fog. That's pretty cool. Oh, here's a better image of the Phalanx logo, and you can see what I mean. It looks like the Legion logo, but a little bit adapted, I guess. And then there's a little bit there about the reset, about what's going to get reset. It's exactly what you'd expect. It's just like last time. You're losing all your contraband weapon inventories, all your keys are gone, all your mission items are gone. Anything that you've been storing like that, you want to use them before next Wednesday, otherwise they're just going to be gone. All of your faction mission will be reset because there's the whole new system. You will lose all your insured weapon slots because there's going to be a new way of earning them. I think you're going to lose your active operator slots, although it doesn't really mention that. But any rewards you got, like blueprints and stuff like that, you will be keeping that. The stuff you got from weapon cases, all of that will be kept. You're not losing any of your skins or anything like that. So, lots of exciting stuff in there. There's a little tease at the end where it says, we have many exciting as well as redacted content ahead. I think they're just teasing now. I think they're just saying there is a lot more stuff coming to DMZ. This isn't like the end of DMZ. They did say in the Season 4 blog post that kind of the raid is like finishing with Season 4. They're not saying anything like that for DMZ. It definitely seems like they're in it for the long haul. There's going to be more stuff like this. Of course, as soon as this goes live, as soon as Season 4 goes live, I'll be streaming this over on twitch.tv/Geeky Pastimes. We're going to be heading straight into DMZ, exploring the new map, exploring Vondel, seeing how you unlock all the different things. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Make sure you leave me a follow, twitch.tv/Geeky Pastimes, and I will see you there. As I said at the beginning, let me know in the comments what you think of all of these changes. What do you think about the things they're adding to the game, the FOB? Is it enough to bring you back to DMZ? Is it enough to keep you playing DMZ? I'd be super interested to know. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.